My name is Jason Park. I've been in Mongolia since about November of 2009. And I came actually right after the investment agreement for Ivanhoe, for Oyu Tolgoi was signed. That was in October of 2009. And since about March of 2010, we've been running a company. It's an investment company that invests in real estate as well as Mongolian equities. And we also do some sell-side business as well on the side. A lot having to do with either real estate development projects or mining projects. The changes are quite obvious. I mean, they're very apparent as well. You go around the city and you just see so many luxury cars now. You see so many developments happening. A lot more upscale developments that never existed in Mongolia before are happening, and you just also see that whenever you're on a plane coming to Mongolia, you see so many expats coming here now. And you know, expats aside, you also see so many businessmen coming here to kind of look around, see what kind of opportunities are available. There are multiple parts to that, right? So one very important part of the Mongolian economy right now is FDI, foreign direct investment. And I mean, if you look at the foreign direct investment last year, it equated to almost 50% of GDP. And what this does is it gives Mongolian people the capital to be able to invest in whatever projects, real estate, infrastructure, mining. I mean, they need everything right now in Mongolia, and they need capital and expertise to do so. And neither of which are in Mongolia domestically or locally right now. So they are very dependent. I mean, it's a tremendous dependency on the foreigners that come here with the capital and expertise. And that being said, it's wholly dependent on mining exports almost all to China. So you can look at Mongolia as basically a leverage play on the China growth story. And if you look at the flip side of that, the flip side of the trade, imports are actually very crucial to Mongolia as well. If you look at, for example, the energy sector, petroleum sector, over 90% of the petroleum imports come from Russia. And it's actually one company in Russia called Rosneft that's importing all of the oil here, all petroleum products. So, I mean, I think, you know, maybe even more than developed countries that you might think are more interconnected to the world economy, Mongolia might be more so because they have more dependence on imports and exports. Mongolians are actually quite receptive, at least in business sense, to foreigners. Almost all the foreigners except the Chinese. And I think you've already heard this from many people from your previous interviews, but Mongolians are very, for historical and geopolitical reasons, they're afraid of the Chinese influence in Mongolia. And the matter of fact is, where Mongolia is right now, Mongolia is more economically dependent on China than some Chinese provinces within the country. That's fact. I think they're quite receptive to it. The thing is that the government has a what's called a third neighbor policy, where the first two neighbors are the countries that are bordering them, right? Russia and China, and so they're looking for third neighbors such as the U.S., Japan, Korea, and actually Germany is also one of the key trading partners in Mongolia. And so they're always looking to develop political and economic relationships outside of their two large neighbors, so that they can have more of a balance. But the thing is, economically speaking, it's just so very difficult because any kind of export or any kind of import has to go through China. Back to your question about how foreigners, or what kind of responsibility foreigners feel, being here. To be honest, I don't know if people really think about that. I mean, to be completely frank, Mongolia attracts certain very, very peculiar type of people. And I've heard them being called mercenaries before. I mean, I don't know. Mercenary is a loaded word, right? There are a lot of connotations to someone being called a mercenary. So, but I don't know any other word for it really. Let's say mercenary without all the negative connotations, maybe. But Mongolia is a frontier market, and it's a very risky and it's a dangerous place to do business. And that's just the nature of it being a frontier market and it being a very in the early stages of stable government, and it's only really been 2 decades since the country has been a democracy right now. So yeah, I mean, I really don't think the foreigners coming here. I mean, of course, there are a lot of the foreigners who are very socially responsible, who actually want to help develop the country as well. There are plenty of NGOs, such as like the Millennium Challenge account here. You have the USAID. I mean, you have all these different organizations that come here to help develop the country. But at least in my capacity as a person that's doing business here, I am interacting mostly with people who are doing business, and they have it's a very wild west mentality, where they know they're coming here because of the opportunities that exist here, but they're not necessarily looking to stay for the long term. They're looking to kind of make the quick buck and get out when they can. I have tried to actually help a lot of small and medium enterprises, SMEs here. In my capacity, actually, as a Korean American, what I noticed was that a place that I could kind of add value here was facilitating business between Korea and Mongolia, and I do that on an actually non-profit basis by helping connect those kind of investors to businesses here that are sorely lacking capital. I'm in my own way giving back to the community here.